What's up, everybody? Welcome on into the Slate, coming your way here on a Thursday. And what that means, it's the sports edition. We can get into, I don't know, a little bit of whatever we want. Obviously, the big thing in the world of sports right now is the British Open overseas. Taking a look at the Open Championship, we will do so with a couple of our golf guys. Reed T. Fowler, Jeff Ulrich will join us shortly. Maybe a little bit later, if we have time, we could do some NFL futures. Or, like I said, bounce around. NHL free agency with Jeff. Reed has been glued to Summer League hoops. We can get into all of it. I'm Adam Kaufman. It's good to see everybody. Well, I guess literally see only one person. That's Reed, who is, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, Reed T. Fowler, sponsored by Adidas. Is that how I'm supposed to do this?
Yes, exactly. I hope you know, sporting the par 3 culture hat. You see a lot of guys right now sporting it on the old links at St. Andrews, the old course. So it's like I'm there, Koff. I'm trying to live vicariously through them with my
wardrobe
wear.
Yeah, totally the same, but it looks good on you. So at least
Thank
you
you.
got that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's your summer league comment that got me. It tickled me because I just love that we're betting basically JV basketball.
I know. I have had people say to me when I will talk about summer league hoops, like, wait, people gamble on this?
Richard Jefferson is
officiating
sporting the so like it's like Chet Holmgren is what, 3 pounds dripping wet. He's gonna get absolutely broken in half. It's funny to see that people are climbing, but like that's how successful something like this can be, right? Is that there's on DK Sportsbook, Julian's out there, he's tweeting that he's betting and getting boots on the ground. We know that a good contingency of our group is out for the All-Star game for baseball. So we got a lot.
Has Julian appeared on the sweater on the Slate since he's been out there? Since you mentioned boots on the ground,
I mean, all I'm seeing are pictures of the pool
and the food that he's eating.
Basically, what he's eating. So,
I haven't seen one picture from inside an arena,
which is par for the course. Like that guy doesn't work.
Unbelievable.
Like he doesn't work. So
incredibly late.
Apparently he's out there. Steve Buchanan thinks Toronto's near Seattle. So we got a good contingency that's out west right now.
That's crazy. You mentioned Chet Holmgren before. We're not obviously going to really talk basketball, but it's watching him play. And obviously, like he's a summer league stud. He's going to be a real life stud. We all respect the draft position, the talent, all of it. And it makes me think back to like guys like Giannis when they entered the league. Like Holmgren in a couple of years is going to fill out. He is going to get thicker and all of that. But to your point, right now he looks like Sean Bradley.
Yeah, I mean, way more talented,
but just visually.
I'm just looking at my Twitter timeline and I see Julian Edlos, Summers C's cost me again L. But yeah, like I mean, yeah,
could have had that money on JD Davison, Jules. Right. Figure it out.
Maybe it's time for just to lay off the game by game, Jules, and maybe just bet futures. But look, I think there's
the summer league champions,
right. I mean, this is a new game, right, in the NBA.
Yeah.
And I think you can hopefully grow into a body like that. If you can put on 10, 15 pounds and then, be 175 dripping wet at 7 feet. The guy's got massive talent.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
He's got so much, you got range for days. It's just, are the defenders, are the Embiids of the world going to be able to stop him when he's pulling up in 28 feet and draining it? That's their bet, right? OKC is trying to get their Durant back, basically.
Sure.
Right. That's ever since they let him go, that's what they've been trying to get back ever since then. So we'll see if it works out.
Stella lost her groove. OKC lost Durant. You got to get this stuff back.
It's like when the Marlins had their World Series run and then everybody left, right? Like Felix, all those guys left, A-Rod.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. When OKC had Harden, Westbrook, and Durant, and then they've been trying to get back to the good old days.
See, already we've hit on something I didn't expect to do during this show, which is a little summer league hoops. Maybe by the end, we'll talk about the Derek Jeter upcoming documentary. I know there's a lot of excitement about that and getting to know him a little bit better, especially the gift baskets, Reed. We're going to find out more about the gift baskets. That is reason enough to watch. Let me tell you, what a stable that guy. All right, let's talk about the Open Championship, though. You got Cam Young, who is in front right now. And again, day one, day one, but a hell of a performance. Obviously, he's 8 under. It's good for a 2-shot lead on Rory McIlroy. There was Rory was, at least a couple weeks out among the darlings going into this thing.
Yeah.
Like, you think Open Championship, you think Rory McIlroy, at least with the way he's been hitting the ball right now. He's not in first. He's very much in contention. He's one of several that are right there. You got Cam Smith, another Cam. You got Rob Dinwiddie is there. You got Kurt Kitayama, Kitayama. I want to make sure I say correctly when I'm with you. Close enough.
Yeah.
Lee Westwood and on. There are a million guys, obviously, that are under right now. But in terms of that top tier, and in particular, Young and McIlroy, what have you thought so far?
Well, first I want to point out I appreciate the effort. I don't know if it was for golf or it's because I'm Japanese, but I appreciate it on both fronts.
It's both, yeah. Both.
So I
more
really
the golf, but both,
that.
sure.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But yeah, look, I mean, we talk about Cameron Young, 18 of 18 greens hit in regulation. I mean, that's pretty good. That's not necessarily a stat that's correlated to success here, right? Because they're big greens. Every single green is it has 2 holes in it, right? And every single green equals 18. So for instance, the 14th green shares a green with the second or the 4th hole, right? 16th shares with number 2, so on and so forth. So they're massive greens. So you can have 18 of 18 greens hit, but you could be like 80 feet away on one of them, right? So it doesn't really matter. But what he did is he was driving it beautifully, and early on in his outward 9, right, which is the front 9, but going out, which is basically how St. Andrews was built, how most courses were built after that, right? They go away from the clubhouse, the front 9, so they call it the outward 9. He played very impressive golf. I think he was 4 or 5 under on the front on the outward 9. And that's what you have to do at St. Andrews, is you have to score, because the back 9, the inward 9 is much trickier. And he navigated the course extremely well. I had a Rory McIlroy first round leader bet that would have hit if it wasn't for Cam Young. And this is the thing about golf, which makes it difficult, but also fun, is that it's so much variance. He in the last, I believe, 6 rounds or so, whatever it may be, he was 30 over par, just in general, right? He missed back-to-back missed cuts. He fired his caddy, who was, I believe, either his friend from college or a college teammate that was on the bag. He let him go, and he brought in someone else that looped for a handful of other pros previous to Cameron Young. And what does he do? He shoots 8 under, right? And he was saying, I was playing terribly. I didn't know where my swing was. He said he didn't get used to the time change until Tuesday of this week, and he comes down and he shoots 8 under. A lot of people will say that it's probably not going to hold up, but if you look at since the 1939 St. Andrews Open or British Open, the winner has come from 3 shots back, within 3 shots of the lead after day 1. If that's the case, there's only 3 guys right now that's Young, McIlroy, and Smith. I don't think that trend really correlates to what we're going to see this year. But I mean, I think the best person to compete with him is Rory, because he looks fantastic.
Moose here with us as well. Jeff Ulrich jumping in, and we promise we'll let you see that smiling face as well. But Moose, as you probably heard a little bit of here, and you're forgiven for missing the Summer League basketball portion of the show. Reed here, very surprised, much like most people, I would imagine, by Cam Young's day 1 performance. What about you?
Yeah, surprised, but also not that surprised. I mean, Cam Young has been, he's flashed an insanely good TD Green game, and he's flashed, and it's not just the ball striking and the fact he can hit it a mile. He's very good around the greens, and he's very good with the putter as well, I guess I should say. Around the green can be a little hit or miss, but I mean, when he's striking the ball like this, his around the green game isn't going to matter. St. Andrews isn't that hard. I mean, it does have some trickiness about it, obviously, but if you're not missing, if you're not having the big misses, or you're taking the worst of it out of play, I mean, with your driver, then I mean, a guy like Cam Young can go nuts on this course, as we've seen. I mean, I don't think that's going to be the last 64 we see this week either. I think that, you will probably see, depending on the weather, but I think you'll see at least a couple more rounds like that. And so Cam Smith, he had a couple, it's a good reminder that a couple of events don't make or break a player. You really need to look at the big picture. And the big picture with Cameron Smith is he had put together 5 months of insanely high end play. or Cameron Young, I'm sorry. And
I was going to say, which Cam are we talking about now? Because we got two in the top three.
And Cameron Young is just, a player he's going to break through eventually. Could be this week, man. I mean, I'm not going to take him over Rory, but it wouldn't really shock me. Like Reed said, I mean, could just be, look, when Usti won here in 2010, he had never made the cut at the Open. He's a little bit older, but he was around the same age. He was just a really, really good young golfer. And that's kind of what Cameron Young is. So it can happen.
The one thing too, though, to mention, and look, Jeff's right. I mean, you look at his tee to green game over the long haul. I mean, he was runner up right at, where was it, at Genesis. And then he comes back with the 16th at Honda. Like throughout the entire season, he was racking up top 20s, top 5s, and really runner up finishes at the Wells Fargo. And that's the one that I want to mention, is that I had an outright on Cameron Smith at the Wells Fargo. He ends up becoming runner up, but I remember him missing 5-foot putts, 6-foot putts, 4-foot putts at TPC Avenel Farms, right? This is St. Andrews. And again, it just goes to show you, to what Jeff is saying, they find something and we might not know, right? Because like he mentioned in his presser, in his post round, he's like, I didn't feel normal until Tuesday of this week. Like I was completely off. I didn't think I was going to play. Like I didn't feel normal. And this was his first Open Championship. So that can happen sometimes, right? Like coming down the stretch, can he hang with it? I think his temperament is still something that worries me. If I had an outright on Cameron Young, I think he gets bothered by too many things. You can just see it on his face. But look at the guys who are right behind him, right? And Cameron Smith and Rory McIlroy, both very like tried and true major tested players right now.
I was saving this question for when you were both here. You mentioned the time change, Reed, and obviously it's tougher on the golfers than it is the viewers. But I am wondering, now that round one is basically in the books as we sit here, right around 5:30 Eastern, because obviously this thing is across the pond. Lineups locked, 1:45 a.m., something like that. Earlier this morning or last night, however you want to look at it, depending on when you went to bed, I guess. But I was up when this thing started. You guys setting alarms to watch this? Is it messing up your sleep schedules?
Well, Jeff, really, if people know where Jeff lives, it wasn't that late for him.
Well, it was still a little before midnight.
11:30.
I mean, one of my kids got me up at like 3:30 a.m. last night. I contemplated just staying up and getting up, but no, for me, I mean, if you get up where I live, like a little bit early, you can basically catch the entire second wave.
Yeah.
I'm not wrecking my sleep as an old man now, just to watch the AM wave. Sorry, it's not happening. But I know some people like to do that, but no, I'm fine getting up. I turn it on. We got the second wave coming out. I can see the scores. I don't know. It's one of those things. Yeah. When you're younger, I used to stay up to like 3:30 watching it, and then, get up a little early, whatever. But I don't know. Yeah. I get wrecked.
Well, Reed, with those overnight feedings now, I mean, this is like strategic.
It's a great tournament. If you have a newborn, this is perfect because you're up anyways, and you might as well have golf on.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I stayed up, but then I got up, I think 3 or 4 times, thinking that it was like, when you have a newborn or when you have kids, like you don't sleep soundly anymore. Mm-hmm. So you just get up. And I had lucid dreams. I kid you not. I'm not just saying this for the show and for hashtag content. I had lucid dreams that my guys were 7 under par. I had the first round leader. And I looked at, once I woke up at, I don't know, like 3 or 4 o'clock and checked, all my guys were basically DFL. So, that just goes to show you. And if that's the case, just go back to sleep. Right.
I hear that. And I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm also not just saying this for the show, and I won't get too specific, but over the last year or two, I guess it always happened prior, but really consistently now, I guess, since pandemic life or I hesitate to say post-pandemic life because we're not out of this thing. But I mean, the number of like work-related lucid dreams that I have, like I must have like 4 a week. It's awful. It's the worst.
Yeah. It's just like, like due dates for article, it's just like, there's a lot of correlation. That's for another show. That's
when I'm sleeping, it's supposed to be my escape, Reed.
Yeah, no kidding. Well,
dreaming about work.
Good luck.
I did see a meme once that I'm trying to remember exactly what it said, but to paraphrase it, said something like being, and Jeff can relate to this, talking about, wrecking his sleep before. Being an adult, like nobody tells you being an adult is just, waking up kind of tired one day and staying that way for the rest of your life. Yeah.
Or like summer, like summer is no longer summer, right?
Yeah.
Summer used to be, it used to last for a year, felt like. And the days just were, and especially in Hawaii, when it was like all you did was go to the beach every single day in the summer, and it was all day.
No, those days are behind you, pal.
Those days are far behind.
Summer's the worst when you're an adult now, because the days are longer and you have more time to do work, and your lawn grows quicker, and there's everything happens. Like all I do is work more now, and it's terrible. I like
this is becoming a get off my lawn show. Becoming
all right, everybody all at once, shake your fist at a cloud.
Yes,
you kids get off my lawn show. So.
I want to hear. I want Jeff's takes on lawn mowing at some point, but I guess that's not made for this show. We know that he would make it look just as nice as it does over at St. Andrews.
I'm getting artificial
to bring it back
grass at some point.
Man,
artificial grass, turf. I want the AstroTurf.
Let's
with
talk
the
about
cement under it. So when people come over and they take dives, like they're tearing ACLs.
You screw around on my yard, you're gonna pay for it.
Yeah,
these are sick.
Let's circle back to Rory though, because Reed, you mentioned before that you had the first round leader on him, very close. I mean, like I said, we've been talking about this guy for weeks. Like, Jeff, I can remember conversations with you talking, wishing that he would not do so well in the tournaments leading up to this, just to get a better number on him, obviously going into the Open Championship. So what were your takeaways on him today?
Not really surprised. Just I feel dumb that I didn't put more money on him pre-event. I had like some weird parlay with him, but it's not going to pay very much, but it's something. I don't even know. Like, I feel like plus 360, there's actually like a little bit of value on Rory. You telling me like with Rory, the way he started, that he's not going to at least be there on Sunday within like a shot? I find that hard to believe. Like plus 360 is probably not even a bad number. The only thing that like I think is stopping this number from being shorter is the event we're playing. And like Cameron Young, I mean, he's a quality player. It's not like we have some random like 1,000th ranked player in the world who shot 800. It's Cameron Young, who's very good. So that's probably the only thing keeping this number from being like plus 180 or like 200. He's plus 360 right on the DraftKings Sportsbook. I'm not really shocked. I think that this was always kind of the event that he felt like he was kind of trending towards anyways, but there's still a golf tournament to play. I'm not saying I'm giving it to him. I'm just saying we're looking at it from a betting perspective. Plus 360 doesn't feel like that bad a number on Rory right now. So I don't know. You can take it for what it is. It's short. It's a golf tournament. It's probably too short to really bet, but it really doesn't feel like that bad a number on Rory.
Reed, do you see value in that number too?
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad, right? I mean, if you want to take it right now, like I would argue that it's not necessarily Cameron Young that's not making that number shorter. It's Cameron Smith, Scotty Scheffler,
right? Yeah,
and Xander Schauffele.
My thing with those guys is like I think Smith. I think we can legit say like Smith is good, but I don't think we need to give him like so much respect that he's like, oh yeah, Smith can like absolutely blow us out of the water. Scheffler's two back. Scheffler and Schauffele are probably the two guys that are like really, and Schauffele is what, like 3 shots back? Is he at 3 under, I think? So I think it's really Scheffler is like the one guy here.
Well, so 5 back, or do you mean back of Rory?
Back of Rory. Like I know. I'm kind of just writing off Cameron Young here, which I shouldn't, but I'm just saying if we're looking outside of Cameron Young, like Scheffler and Schauffele are really the only two guys here. I mean, Cantlay and Spieth, those guys could make a run too, but like of the top guys, I mean, if you're not on Rory, like who else are you on? I guess is the point. Like, you could take a flyer on Schauffele at plus 1,400. That's pretty close to his like pre-event number. But if you're not going to go up to Rory, like I think I would like start looking at like guys like Cantlay and Spieth, because I don't know, like I think Rory's just kind of played so well that you almost got to give him some respect. So
let me throw your hypothetical right back at you, and both of you. We'll start with you, Jeff, since you brought it up though. If you're not on Rory, who are you on?
I mean, again, if we're talking about live betting, like you could.
All we have at this point.
What's that?
That's all we have at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, I think you could take a look at Scheffler at plus 800. That's fine. I think Scheffler is definitely, belongs in the conversation of a guy like Rory who could just absolutely blitz this and catch Young and put himself in a good position. But I think if I wasn't going to dive in on Rory or Scheffler, it would be further back. I would probably look at Cantlay, a guy who's going to go out early tomorrow. I think, is Neiman out early tomorrow? I can't remember. But, Cantlay plus 3,000.
That first wave anyway.
Yeah, 825. Both Scheffler and Neiman are out at 825 within the same group.
So Cantlay is at -2. He's at bigger odds than he was on DraftKings than his pre-event bet. If you, again, we shouldn't write off Cameron Young, but he's effectively 4 shots back of Rory. I could at least see Cantlay getting hot with the putter here for a round or two and putting him in a position where he's a couple back going into the final round, which is really all you can ask for at this point, and give the guy a chance. So that's probably where I would be looking. I really don't know if I'd be looking that much further back. It's going to take a pretty monumental effort for guys like, like a Fitzy at plus 7,000. This course could definitely lend itself. Like we saw an 8 under today, but there's just like the quality of names that some of these guys at like 1 under or even will have to go through. Yeah. It seems like a little bit too much. So I think that for live betting right now, I would keep it fairly tight. I mean, I wouldn't dive too far deep down in the odds. I know this course is going to give a lot of low scores, but there's just too many quality names. It feels like that could go on runs here. So I don't know. Well, this could all be thrown on its head if we get some wind on Saturday or something, but yeah, that's why I'm looking at the live odds. I think Cantlay is interesting and Spieth right now. I think those are the two guys with like bigger odds that I would be looking at.
Reed?
Yeah, I mean, so a few things to set the context, right? Like in a major championship, like I mentioned to you earlier, Koff, the winner, especially at St. Andrews since 1939, this is a Justin Ray tweet, which I don't necessarily fully endorse, is that the winner has come from 3 back in every single British Open at St. Andrews since 39. Game is a little bit different, right? Yeah. At this stage. So there's context behind that. The second thing is, you take a look at what Jeff was saying, it's so forecast dependent, right? Guys are all going on number 1. There's no split tees. Jeff, Emerson, and myself were having a group chat of what needs to happen so we don't get 6.5-hour rounds. We were half joking, half serious, but that also plays a factor into it, right? Fitzy was clearly and visibly angry that it was taking forever. So that's another thing. And then number 3, if this is about, there's a couple of things, right? Like if this is about making money, and which is what we want to try and do, betting the outright winner at this point and trying to get the odds is probably negative EV. You probably want to go top 5, top 10, top 20, that market, the derivatives, to look at that, because you can get plus 550 for Neiman to finish top 5, which has a much better chance in my mind than hitting, as opposed to someone like Cantlay, in my estimation, winning this. Because the things that need to progress to happen for Cantlay to win is that he needs to have a stellar round, and the guys like Rory and Smith and Scheffler all have to regress, which is probably not going to happen. So that's probably where I stand right now, is that I'd probably rather play derivative. And look, I mean, if you talk about a guy that could have had a better round, Scotty Scheffler for sure. He burned the edge on 18 for a birdie. He should be at 5 under. He missed a ton of putts on the back 9 that were 10, 15 feet, but like very close putts. If those switch tomorrow early, he could be out there. And then Neiman's the same way. Like he's a same in that same, in my mind, like in that same bucket of guys that I would trust for maybe like Neiman more top 5, and Scotty Scheffler is probably my favorite for an outright. Like there's guys, and I tweeted this out, Will Zalatoris has gotten the second most bets and the second highest percent of handle at plus 13,000. And Zalatoris is 1 over. He's 9 back, right? Of the leader, 7 back of Rory. Like
plus 15,000 now.
Okay, now he's at plus 15,000. Like I know what Zalatoris has done. And Jeff, we were talking about this after the US Open. You were saying maybe we should just put money on Zalatoris now. And this is what kind of was scaring me. And I bet Zalatoris just because of what he was doing in the majors, just as a hedge. But this is what kind of scared me about him, is that you get him on slow greens and his putting statistics are skewed. All of his positive putting statistics in the majors were on extremely fast greens, right? To where his stroke doesn't have to do much. And when you have to kind of pop it, Like it's a little bit harder. So right, like that's
I mean, I've had no exposure to Will Zalatoris this tournament. I've never really understood the people who were keen to jump on him overseas for his first, at St. Andrews. It's like you said, this is the exact opposite of the courses that he was excelling on at the PGA and the US Open. So, it wasn't for me either. It's a perfectly correct point you bring up. It's just completely different conditions for him. So, yeah.
Anyone surprised you the other way? Like, for instance, Jeff, if we're looking at, like, we spent some time on the sweat the other day talking about Tiger Woods. Nobody expected Tiger Woods to come out and have this great tournament, but he's Tiger. It's a major. You have to at least put some respect on his name. Right now, he's, forget it. Like, the guy's not even going to make the weekend. He's over. He's, 14 shots back.
Yeah. I'm honestly not really that surprised. Like the big news with Tiger is, he got through a practice round. Like one practice round was like being reported. I like, that's how little of golf he has played. Like this leg injury, I almost think like he did himself a disservice by playing the Masters this year. Like it almost seems like he set himself back by coming back a little bit too quick. So, clearly he's building up to it, but like it's just not there, right? So once he pulled out of the US Open, it was pretty clear, like he's just kind of setting himself up for a bit of a ceremonial start. I know he'll never say that or admit to it, but that's kind of what it appeared to me. And unfortunately it does seem like that way. Right. So I don't know, man. I mean, I'm like I said, when we did the slate the other day, the only bet that I was really interested on Tiger was to miss the cut because like there's nothing that we can go and say, yeah, I mean, this guy has, he popped for like a couple rounds at the US Open, or like he played in this event. He got a good warm up. Like he hasn't done anything. He had to pull out of events like that. That's what he's done the last two months. So yeah, it's disappointing. But as far as other people, like I'm a little bit just surprised by. A little bit surprised John Rahm kind of fell apart. Yeah. I'm honestly not that surprised by Zalatoris because of all the things Reed mentioned, broke it down perfectly. A little bit surprised Matthew Fitzpatrick didn't play better to start. But again, he had Tiger. He was in Tiger's group too. So that's tough. I think the biggest shock start to me was Adam Scott, who I think was 4 over through 6 holes. And then he got it back to even, which is really nice. But it's really disappointing because like if he just plays those 6 holes in even, I mean, he's at 4 under. Like this is a guy I expected to compete this week. He was looking really solid, really sharp coming in. And now he's like, it could still happen, but like he's got to do something special over the next couple of days. So Adam Scott was probably one of my biggest disappointment and surprises. Fleetwood, Fitzpatrick, a couple guys I kind of expected more from too. There's still time for these guys, but like we mentioned, you don't go low tomorrow, you're pretty much done.
Yeah. Reed, other than Tony Finau, what about for you?
No, it's not even good. I won't even mention. I'm not even
started. I was excited. I tweeted this out. Hideki Matsuyama, like these are 3 guys that have outrights on. Zalatoris and Finau. We're all in the same group, and I'm thinking to myself, "Oh, beautiful! I'll just watch this group." And both Zalatoris and Finau, I believe it was on 9, hit it to 6 and 9 feet. Finau 6 feet, Zalatoris 9 feet for eagle on a par 4, and they both end up missing it. Granted, they get birdie, but that's, like this is par for the course, like the Brian Windhorst meme that everyone's talking about. Hashtag, talking meme.
Yeah.
Like that's when he misses the putts. I'm not surprised. Max Homa is probably the guy that I'm surprised, but not.
Yeah.
He missed. I mean, he was coming in as one of the best guys inside 10 feet putting. And he missed, I don't know how many 9-foot putts for birdie or par, especially birdie today. And I like this could have been such a better round for Homa. Like he could be at 3-4 under par if he make those 9-10-foot putts. But that's what happens at St. Andrews, right? Is you miss those putts and it's either the wind, you have no idea. It's like the fescue based, Poana based green. It's right by the ocean. The tide goes out, that wind comes up. Max Homa right now is probably one of my favorite live bets, guys, at top 20 at plus 400, because he shot 1 over par today. Like I mentioned, that could have easily been, a 3 under. I think he comes out. On a lot of this too, and I'm not kidding around, I think it was a lot playing with Tiger. Like, for him subconsciously, I'm diving into the subconscious of someone else, which is never a good idea. But probably thinking to himself, wow, this is amazing, right? I'm at St. Andrews, the old course where golf started. I'm playing with my hero. That stupid tweet has been going out at nauseum that he asked Tiger to play with him in 2013. So a lot of that probably came into his psyche. I say he comes out tomorrow and he probably shoots 400 par in my estimation, especially because they're going out early.
Yeah, that's the big thing, right? Like,
so a plus 400 for a top 20, I don't think that's bad at all. I got an outright on Homeless, so probably not going to happen at 1 over par, but top 20, not bad.
Yeah. And just to put a cherry on that, like, again, if you're targeting someone tomorrow, like with a bet like that, this pace of play is like insane. I mean, we're 6.5 hour rounds, man. Like, yikes. Get guys who are going to be on the course and off it. Because once we hit like noon again, they might not even get through the round tomorrow. I mean, they probably will, but like, because the sunlight there is like forever. But holy cow, man. Like, if you're getting on anyone live or do you want them to go low, take the early starters. Wow. Like Rory's going to be interesting tomorrow, and Cam Young. Cam Young tees off at 130 local. Rory tees off at 3 local. Cam Smith at one local too. So Cam Smith has the earliest tee time of the leaders, but man, like it's going to be a grind for those guys tomorrow, just like it was for the afternoon guys. I'm not expecting low rounds from many of the afternoon guys. I mean, I haven't looked at the weather, but like just from a pace of play, I think it's going to be the same deal. So,
Koff, I'm going to take your job for a little bit.
Please,
Jeff, what do you like? We did this last week as well with the Scottish Open. Where do you think the leading score is going to be after tomorrow? Because we were right last week, right? We saw it regress back down to, I think you were right, 7 under.
Yeah, we pretty much nailed it. We said there's no way, like, you'll probably be 9 under or worse, right?
Yeah. So what do you think it lands tomorrow?
I mean, again, like, I would venture to say, like, I will not be shocked if Cam Young shoot. I don't think Cam Young, I wouldn't pencil him in for anything better than like a 2 under. Like, if he shoots like 1 under, that's probably around where I'd put him. I think even par is very possible. Then you got Rory teeing off late. Rory is the guy who I could see just being able to grind through this because he's a veteran and he knows what's coming. He's very focused right now. So if Rory shoots like 3, maybe even 4 under, I won't be that surprised. I will be surprised if Cam Young comes out and shoots 4 under, because it's going to be totally foreign to him, right? So Rory is the one guy of like those late starters I could see push through it. But even him, I would put a cap on his like upside of probably 3 or 4 under. And again, this is without me looking at the weather. I'm pretty sure it's still okay for tomorrow. But so I'm not expecting much from those afternoon guys. I think Rory is like the one guy that will probably be able to grind through it. But yeah, I won't shock me if like Cam Young shoots 1 over and we get a leader at like 9 under par or something. And it's really not much different from what it is today.
Yeah.
So in the we've got a few minutes left. In the interest of time, though, and I'm fully to be transparent for the people out there listening, I'm fully putting you both on the spot here. But how about a bold prediction read for round 2 tomorrow?
A bold prediction. Min Woo Lee is no. That's not going to be my bold prediction. I'm going to double down on Cameron Smith. Like, I'm on an island. Did not like seeing him shoot this well in round 1 because I publicly faded Matt Fitzpatrick at the US Open. That worked that well for me. And now Cameron Smith, I publicly have faded, and it's working just as well. But I'm going to say, I'm going to piggyback on what Jeff was saying. I don't think he plays a good round. He made a ton of putts today. He made like a 60 or 70 footer on 2 or 3 for birdie. This wind picks up, and I know he's solid, and you see Australian golfers littered on this leaderboard, and it makes a lot of sense. But I don't think that I don't think he stays put. And Scotty Scheffler, I don't think this is a bold take. I think Scotty Scheffler is leading this tournament after round 2.
What do you say, Jeff?
I think that's a good take. I mean, again, like, we got to look at these early starters. So I don't mind that take at all. Yeah, I'm going to say that. Like, I think that the guys who were able to grind out a good round, like a Scheffler in the afternoon, I think Dustin Johnson's another player.
Yeah.
Really do not forget about him. But I'm going to say Cantlay shoots something low tomorrow. Maybe not low enough to like take the lead, but I'm going to pencil Cantlay in for like a 65. One of Cantlay or Joaquin Niemann. Joaquin Niemann's another player I think one of those guys shoots like 5 under or better and gets himself in the mix. Those are the two guys I really would have my eye on. Obviously, people know I'm high on Cantlay already because I was high on him. But I like the fact that he started this event. He was in the tough wave and he grinded through it. Because at the U.S. Open and the PGA, he just basically just fell apart in the first round. So the fact he's able to grind through the tougher wave here, I think that sets up good for his psyche. But yeah, Scheffler is, of the guys we talk about, Neiman, Cantlay, Scheffler, and Dustin, like that's the real danger man to come out and shoot like 600.
That'd be a beautiful, if that were Saturday and Sunday, those 4 golfers, that's going to be
I mean, there's a lot of potential here for some serious drama with good golfers. I mean, Dustin getting in the mix. Lee Westwood's at 4 under too. Mm-hmm. We could get some live action there. So
you were it's funny you mentioned live because I was going to bring up Bryson DeChambeau, who right now is, he's sitting 3 under, 5 shots off the lead, and in the spirit of bold takes, I can't decide if it's more bold to say that he's going to drop off, which doesn't feel all that bold based on how he's played, for the most part coming into this one, or to go the other way and say that he's going to be right there near the top, like even closer to the top, at the end of round 2 than he is right now.
Yeah, I mean, he got the benefit of the early wave, kind of this year, right? Let me set the context. Then we preface this year, he's like the poor man's Cameron Young. Cameron Young is like the poor man's Bryson, where he's hitting it extremely far and putting. That's when Bryson was so good, is that he was hitting it a mile and he was making every single putt. Cam Young's doing the same thing. But yeah, I mean, I think you're right, Koff. Like, he benefited from the early wave. Let's see how he does in the late wave. I don't know if he's going to be ready for him.
It's interesting. He's starting to show, he made the cut at the U.S. Open. He didn't play that bad at that Live Portland event. Like, clearly, I think he's on the uptick, which is good to see. I mean, I know he's not on the PGA Tour anymore, but we don't want to wish I'm not wishing ill will on him. I think
you want good golfers to be good at golf.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So I think that I'm not bold enough to get on him or anything like that, but if he puts in one more good round, it won't shock me at all. He does have that late afternoon tee time though. I think you probably will see him regress a little bit and maybe shoot even or 1 over or something, but he's definitely playing a little bit better. And it's something to keep in mind, because if you get a good number on him in his next live start, and I'm talking we can get 15-1, I will be all over that. I know we were kind of over it on the first one, didn't work out, but he's definitely progressing, which is good.
Looking ahead to tonight's schedule, there are no Madden Sims. Must be Thursday night football. There's no Madden Sims going on tonight, but you will have a few coming at you, obviously. What's that?
7 weeks till Thursday night football?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Maybe
a little bit of leaderboard live action going again.
Everybody's assuming that people are going to be, glued to the Open Championship, but even that doesn't start till the middle of the night. So I don't know. More, maybe we should just keep this show going for another 2-3 hours, but we probably have some other commitments. So we want to thank, of course, our producer, Eamon, Drew, our technical director, Moose hopping in. You didn't miss much, my friend. You were here for the bulk of the golf talk, and we certainly appreciate that. And again, Adidas' own Reed T. Fowler being here with us. It's always a great pleasure. I am Adam Kaufman. The Slate returns tomorrow. I don't know who you will have or what you'll be talking about, because Steve Buchanan's going to be on a plane to the West Coast to Toronto. So you won't have him.
Not going to know what you'll be watching, who you'll be watching, but should be great.
Yeah, it should be great. There'll be plenty of baseball talk. I won't be there. I'll be at the New Kids on the Block concert. We'll see you later. Bye.